Yeah, my name is Silverang. I'm the CEO of Technopolis PLC. We're listed on the Helsinki Stock Exchange. We operate about 800,000 square meters of space in 5 countries, 12 cities, and 20 campuses here in Finland, Estonia, St. Petersburg in Russia, also in Lithuania and Vilnius and in Oslo, among other places. We have about 200 plus people working for us, and we're operating basically 24/7 all over these countries and campuses. Well, of course, Technopolis is a growth company, and we've been growing more than 1,000% since we went public in 1999, and we have been averaging about 15% growth on EBITDA level over the past 10 years. So we're looking, number one, for was scalability. And when you're growing at our rate and when you're operating a chain concept as we're operating, it's essential that you can scale up and deploy your processes, your tools, and your backbone systems as you acquire new campuses and expand them. So we needed to go basically from paper to systems in order to support that growth. And the Sympa system, as I like to call it, using the proper French word, gave us a way of doing that. The second reason, and I think also critical reason, is because the nature of HR development and HR activities tends to be subjective due to the human factor, and we wanted to reduce as much of that subjectivity as we could do by making everything comparable to everything else and limiting the choices, and the system allows us to do that. Well, if you think about just a normal annual cycle, as a simple example, you can take appraisals, performance reviews, where everybody used to do it basically their own way. We had a rule: you have to be at least once a year appraised. Now we can ensure that every single employee has an appraisal, and that the actual appraisal itself, the way it's done, the information we collect, is exactly the same in every single unit across the board, whether we're talking about Oslo or St. Petersburg or Tallinn or Vilnius or Helsinki. So we have exactly the same process on exactly the same schedule with exactly the same information collection. And this now applies also to keeping track of and getting approvals for vacations, dealing with sick leave, and managing what is very important for us, our annual KPIs and target setting processes. So I can be sure that all of my subordinates and all of their subordinates and their subordinates have clear KPIs and targets that support the KPIs and targets that the whole management team has. Well, I think you can say that in general, I don't think any growth company should be operating on paper anymore. I mean, it's actually kind of absurd to even think that way. It's unthinkable that you wouldn't be using a proper, you could say, ERP system for HR. So I think everyone should be doing it, even if it was just a one-man company or one-woman company. I still think it should be done earlier rather than later. And seeing as it's a fairly, we're talking about cloud services here, so it's a relatively painless, relatively painless process. So there's no excuse not to do that. Then if we talk specifically about the Sympa solution, I think that the whole execution of the project, the fact that you have an agile, young, and relatively, non-bureaucratically oriented player who's doing this, made the project work itself, I think, reasonably flexible and quite fast. I mean, I have to say this, it's because it's the truth. It's the first ERP project I've ever been involved with that actually went according to the timetable, the budget, and the targets that were set.